Dark Souls 3 is a game with a deep and complicated story that revolves around one major conflict between darkness and light. The player of Dark Souls 3 is called an Ashen One, or Unkindled. This refers to the fact that despite sacrificing everything to feed a dying flame, their sacrifice could not sustain the fire, and instead of increasing the duration of the Age of Fire, they simply burned away to ash. However, we are not here to discuss the story of Dark Souls 3 itself. I am here to tell you the thoughts that were going through my head as I made my journey through this game. Are you ready? The Cemetery of Ash represents my birthplace, a place where a clean slate can be made for the souls who arrive. Not much important happens in the Cemetery of Ash. The only real purpose for it is to be a place for the Ashen One to grow in strength till they can set out on their journey. The cemetery, however, has quite a few enemies that will attack on sight. The boss of the cemetery is Edix Gundyr, a former champion of Ash that was betrayed by the ones he trusted before he could prove himself. He has been impaled through the chest by swordmen to light bonfires in order to keep him from disobeying the wishes of the gods, and to allow the next chosen Ash to commence their journey. As I approach Gundyr, he lies still, bound by a contract forced upon him by his betrayers. I pull a sword from his chest, releasing his restraint, but not before it was too late. Gundyr has long since turned into a beast from the abyss that has overtaken him. The fight starts slowly, with the undead Gundyr using his original fighting style. However, things take a turn for the worst once he begins to see I have a chance of winning. The abyss that has taken control seizes full control over half of his body, turning it into some giant black oily-looking snake monster. The abyss-driven Gundyr flails wildly while incorporating some tactics from earlier in the fight, until, after a long struggle, I put him down. This marks the end of the man who was betrayed before his true beginning, like a child who was beaten and abused before he was old enough to even fight back. Firelink is my haven, directly connected to the cemetery. This area is where I find my allies and my true purpose, depending on my choices. A home where you can feel safe, with rooms for everyone. There are plenty of comforting reasons to be here at the moment, but my reason is to upgrade my tools, to relax, or even to talk to my the firekeeper of the Firelink Shrine. Along the main room of the Firelink Shrine, I noticed what seems to be thrones. These thrones are where the old lords will need to be rested upon. I hope I have prepared enough for this journey. I was told I needed to kill 4 lords, and though I don't want to, I will regardless. The High Wall is the first road a new chosen Ash must walk in order to get stronger. Plenty of fierce foes will stand in my way, even this early on. There are plenty of secrets around this area, however, sometimes it takes knowing in order to safely traverse such treacherous lands. I should take care to be safe around the various enemies that will alert others to my presence. Getting ganked will be my downfall if I'm not careful. fort stands as the first gatekeeper. He could be seen as a grade schooler's final year, but I shouldn't let this blind me. If I become stagnant now, the next stage will surely tear me apart. Vort was at some point a pontiff knight to the Pontiff Sullivan. After being sent on a mission somewhere, he transformed into the beast that I now see. Poor boy. He was all alone in the end, wasn't he? I can't allow him to suffer. I need to put him down. The undead settlement is the first place where my enemies will start dropping out. The filth and unfortunate of these lands prey upon the ones foolish to think that they are safe in these lands, simply because they were successful earlier in life. It's easy for a fool like me to think that anyone here is my friend, and while a few are, more are truly out for blood. I should look out for treasures hidden around corners or in a place I didn't know existed. The Great Wood is optional, however, I want to achieve something, so I should take this opportunity to embrace this boss fight. Doing this fight will grant me the vessel, which can be used for transposing. The rotted Great Wood is a giant tree that was used to steal away people afflicted with the undead curse. This layer would let a hand to the creation to a fearsome monstrosity that will crush me if I mess up one too many times. The Road of Sacrifices, a very appropriate name, because I must step on a couple of stepping stones to make progress here. I will find plenty of basic enemies strewn about this place. However, the main threat here is going to be the others that are on my level, as well as my own ambitions. One false move will lead to a quick death, since the enemies here will keep me in a stun lock and rip me to shreds. Plenty of space, plenty of obstacles in the way, plenty of goodies to steal for my purposes. Shall I choose to traverse these lands, I will be met with very fearsome enemies capable of taking me down with little effort. and the trudge through the swamp will make my heart ache for release. But the rewards are far greater than the punishments I will receive here. Here, I will be introduced to Curse in the swamp, so I shouldn't stand in one place for too long, and I will be fine around those enemies. The Watchers of the Abyss, some are my friends, some are my enemies, but either way, I must win. They will not stop until everything is dead, and I must be the one who stays alive if I wish to move on. I will not fail. They will use fire and quick strikes, so timing and movement is key here. These poor souls used to fight the Abyss, after all, it is in their name. However, after time, the Abyss takes all, and they were no different. Since I defeated the Watchers, I'll be granted the ability to move on to the mid-game after a few more tests. Down here, there will be way more traps meant to trick fools into believing they are safe, and the enemies will not give any credence to that very same idea. However, the trade-off is that this is the first area where my rewards will actually start to matter. So I must take heed, for what I find down here may end up being a lifelong tool. This boss will fight ferociously to keep himself comfortable. After all, he has suffered through thanks to the bastards who tricked him. But alas, I must kill him to pass. Volnir will summon minions to defend him and use dark and holy magic to defend himself. I must destroy his bracelets, the last remaining comfort in his life, so as is required. I must destroy the bracelets and subsequently kill him. He will summon a giant sword and might use his dark powers to summon skeletons, but I have no choice. So, I killed Volnir. I feel bad about that. All he wanted was to live. But what's done is done. Now, my only goal should be to continue progressing. I can't go against the grain. In the smoldering lake, there will be plenty of enemies that will test my skills. And should I make it through all of the horde, my rewards will be great. I need to watch for the giant ballista that will be pelting me with projectiles. I'm going to need to deactivate that before taking on the worm. It's time to face my demons, isn't it? I crushed a lot of foes to get here. I feel guilty. That's fine. Just relax. This boss will test my ability to time rolls and attack, but overall, it's a pretty easy boss. After this, I will graduate to the next stage of my adventures, so this will make everything worth it. When I'm about to kill him, he will make one last attack that will kill me if I am not tanky enough. There used to be a lot more demons around the world, but then past heroes wound up hunting them to extinction. But I already knew that. The cathedral is a place many people will end up. After all, everyone must at some point experience the church's influence. Many will join the organization. However, what I do is up to me, period. If I choose to enter the church, however, I must be prepared to fight. The enemies there will attempt to close me out of their loop, since I don't deserve what they have. I need to make sure to carry a torch with me for the maggots some of the enemies will afflict me with, and I should play smart. There are a lot of different obstacles here. I'm tired of these cultists, so I'm going to take them down. The deacons stand here as the authority over which their religion stands. Should I defy them, I will be destroyed in the name of their lord. The deacons were corrupted by someone whose own greed and lust for power overtook any morals they once had. As a matter of fact, it is said that their leader is a being capable of consuming gods. I hate the feeling of these people. It's aggravating that they think they are all above all of the actions they have committed in the name of their lord. It seems I have made it this far, Well, I think I deserve a break. Just kidding. It only gets harder from here. The third stage isn't a joke. I must be prepared for anything at any time, lest I find myself dead. The enemies here will inflict frost upon me, and some apply bleed or poison, so I need to watch out for those status effects. Personally, I find this to be the most beautiful locale in the entire game. It's like a city of crystal. Here he is, the Pontiff himself. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. The Pontiff will use fire and dark magic and weapons in an attempt to kill me fast. But I am no fool. I will destroy this evil man's rule over this place. It's sickening to think that someone like him was allowed to take a position like this. A place where the old gods used to live. A cold, desolate place where you'll be attacked by all sorts of big and small creatures. It feels almost magic to be in the presence of such a grand place. I know I'd love to live in a place such as Anor Londo. I need to be wary of plenty of hidden treasures around the area. I wouldn't want to miss anything in this place. It is said that at some point the sun used to shine on this kingdom. I wonder what happened. Well, here's their leader, the leader of the cultists. After I destroy him, I will be free of their corrupting voices. Aldrich used to be a regular human who simply wanted power. After experimenting with the undead, he became fascinated with the abyss and began eating people. After a while of that, he stumbled upon the dying Gwendolyn, son of Gwyn, and consumed him, transforming him into the monster I now see ahead of me. It's time to end this farce. Reminds me of plenty of other places I know, but that's beyond the point. This is the area where all forms of creature were sent to be kept away from any soul that may have found them disturbing, as well as criminals who disturbed the pontiff's rule. I need to be careful of all the traps in the jail, as well as the jailers. They will be relentless in their attempt to kill me, but after making it this far, I should be fine. Enemies are bound to attempt bleeding me here, and jailers can slow me with magic and steal my health. It's just like an authority to stop me in my tracks and leech my life from me. This place holds lots of strange creatures, but it's different somehow, like it used to be a place of worship, but soon fell to ruin and was buried with history. Watch out for toxic and poison down in the capital. I will need to also practice timing a lot, because of all the enemies here that can poise through my attacks. A kind friend to many, but now a hollow lord of cinder. Yorm was once a giant who was hated by humans, of whom feared that he would attack them and destroy their way of life. As a kind gesture, he gave a close friend, and the humans that hated him, a sword that could be used to slay him if he ever lost himself. He is a rather easy boss, who will give me a weapon that can 3 or 4 shot him rather fast. So I just need to time my dodges and charge the weapon right. I should be fine. Rest in peace, old friend. The peak of which my journey has led to, only this too isn't the final step. I must fight through hordes of enemies and avoid traps of all kinds just to be allowed to finally prove my worth. I need to look out for lots of items stashed around the place. If I miss anything, it's up to me to get it later. I have made such a long journey. I can't let it end now. I made it through all the past stages, and this is now my 4th stage. The finale is so close. I will see a lot of familiar faces, and new faces, around this place. I'm confident I can handle this with or without help. A true foe. He stands between me and one of my biggest hurdles after defeating this. I can feel great about how strong I am. However, Becoming complacent or overconfident will lead to a swift death, so I can't underestimate him. He'll use lightning and his giant frickin' shield and weapon to smash my puny body into the ground. And after a while, his friend will show up to pelt me with magic. That is so dang annoying. They say that this armor can still remember the feeling of the days when its original master in it would go out to fight. Almost poetic, isn't it? Yet another staircase leading to where I must go. As I've said many times, just stay patient and think through everything and I will do fine. Plenty of traps and nonsensical enemies will be lying in wait for me. So if I find something that gives me trouble, I shouldn't feel ashamed to retreat and rethink my strategy. My choices here will affect the rest of my life, after all. These brothers are the greatest challenge I've ever taken upon myself yet. Failure may have some serious consequences for me. Lorian will use his sword and teleportation magic to destroy me as well as fire for extra damage during the second phase. However, during the second phase, Lothric will be a threat as well, using miracles to deal damage to me and to heal Lorian if he falls again. My only goal should be to take on Lothric for the second stage, unless I want to fight forever. Prince Lothric was supposed to be a Lord of Cinder, but after years of being taught to reject the linking of the fire by his tutor, he abandoned that duty. As for Lorian, he sacrificed everything to take care of his younger brother, somehow sweet and sickening at the same time. At this point, I have taken care of all of my main goals, but I still have more to do. There is purpose to taking care of things that might cause problems later if they get ignored. For this area, strong enemies that were rare earlier in the game become just basic enemies. Plenty of treasures everywhere, and all of it is useful. He is known to be very aggressive and has gone mad. I need to be careful of his speed and strength. If I am too close, he could instantly charge me down so fast I can't react, like a bullet train. He doesn't really use magic, but does have extra speed and damage during the second phase. The fool I am fighting married a maiden who gave birth to many heavenly children, but Osiris wanted the power of the dragon as well. Such a fool. I just can't let myself fall into madness. A mirrored reality of my birthplace. Here, I will find stronger enemies and better items. This was the place where Gundyr originated from, which means that... is this place the past? Or is this just a reflection of past events? Is it wrong to kill a man twice? The original Gundyr. I must be wary of him. He doesn't have the weakness that he had before, since this is supposed to be him from the past. So, parry him when I can and dodge a lot. This man doesn't have a sword in his chest. Was he not locked into his fate at this point? I have a bad feeling about this. But when don't I have a bad feeling about people? The final trial before the end of my journey. I really didn't need to do any of these things, but it's cool to see I am living a life. The enemies here are all dangerous in their own way and won't take me lightly, so I should do the same. I shouldn't push myself too far. There is no need to be impatient at this point in my life. Born of gods, chose to align with dragons. He has no name. Do I? What is his purpose? Why am I here? Is it too late for answers? I suppose so. I need to be careful of his dragon in the first phase, since that is who I'll be fighting. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't take notice of the nameless king's actions. I'll need to be patient here. During the second phase, the king will be off his dragon, so I need to take care to dodge and time things a lot, since he will be too strong to reliably tank through. I can't parry him, but if I do enough damage, a riposte might be possible. So just don't die yet. I've seen a lot. made it. This is it. I have made too much progress to back down now. I have been taught all I need to know. So dodge when necessary, attack when it's time, and don't fail. Please. This place looks really spooky and yet beautiful at the same time. An appropriate place for the final battle.
Here!
This soul is the greatest of them all. He can use a great sword, sorceries, pyromancies, and a scimitar. Don't slip up, and I'll do fine. I believe in myself. I can do this. They say the soul that created this monster used to be the god, Lord Gwyn, the original Lord of Cinder. And, like before, I will kill him. Yeah. My vision is fading, isn't it? It's time to let my journey end, and extend the life of this flame. Despite all this hard work, I can't help but feel like something is controlling me. But whatever. I made it.